Hello again. I bet you're thinking, this is a grey interior, but it's not the same car. Yes, I took my car to have the rev counter replaced, and they gave me this 718 Boxster, the car that I've always hated. Okay. Well, the thing is, mine was a manual, this is a PDK, and it's the same 2.4 litre engine that I had in my car. The 4-pot sounds the same, but drives slightly differently with the PDK. I think it's better with the PDK. With the manual transmission that I had, it wasn't great. Yeah, I mean, you can hear the sound. It sounds like the car's farting. But yeah, I have it for a couple of days while they do work on my car. And I will show you the inside and outside of this car. Mine was a red interior with grey. This is, I think, silver on the outside with black interior. It's the typical Porsche in the UK dealer chosen car. They choose the most boring, bland colours because they believe they have better resale value, because obviously Porsche owners have no taste and they can't buy anything that is slightly exotic. Ferraris on the other hand, Lamborghinis on the other hand, have all kinds of lovely colours, but Porsche dealers in England push you to buy bland colours with bland interiors because they believe they have better resale. And it's created by the dealers. Like art dealers, they create the demand and the market for things, even though they, like art dealers, they're not capable of affording these things themselves. I know these are very harsh and cruel words, but I'm really hacked off by the Porsche black market in Britain, created by these crooked dealers who want backhanders for everything. I mean, it's come to a point where they are not even ashamed of it. The dealer openly told me that he would only sell me one of the cars that I want if I would guarantee that I wouldn't drive it too much and it would have very low miles, and then I would bring it back to him to sell it. So, and then we can split the profit. So I mean, they are just crooks, and I have no sympathy for crooks and crooked dealers, so I will speak my mind as well. Yeah, so basically what I'm saying is, the people who advise you what the spec of the car should be are the people who cannot afford to have these cars. So don't listen to them. Buy what you like, because it's your car, your money, enjoy it. When you have enough variations in the marketplace, people will buy them. It's because these dealers create this market where they say, oh no, only a silver grey or a plain black car with black interior is desirable. When there's more choices in the marketplace, people will choose things. So don't listen to them. Buy what you like. Your money, you decide. 718 S. Gosh, what a disaster, Porsche. What the hell have you created? I know I get a lot of comments from people saying, oh, you really need to embrace it, the low-end torque and blah blah blah. Well, if you want not to 60 very, very quick, buy an electric car and just go fast. The idea is not how quickly you get to 60, because you're not doing drag races. It's how you get there. The pleasure, the enjoyment is what matters, not how quickly you get there. It's nice to have some power and torque and all that, but the main thing is that if you don't enjoy the car, what's the point? You spend obscene amounts of money on a toy, literally, and you don't enjoy it. So yeah, some people may like this sound, which reminds me of a Subaru with a bad exhaust. Great, good for you. If you like it, enjoy it, but I don't. For me, I want the car to sound raw, grunty. Naturally aspirated engines do that. And as I said before, fuel economy wise, no difference. Again, if you're looking for fuel economy, why on earth are you buying a Porsche? Buy a hybrid or an electric or some other 500cc engine. Abbeville Road, Clapham. Abbeville Road, Clapham. Abbeville Road, Clapham.
Please say the search term for the online search.
London.
Starting online search. No results were found for your search. Which point of interest would you like to drive to?
Abbeville Road, Clapham.
Online search in progress. Online destination has been selected. Would you like to start navigation?
Yes.
Starting route guidance.
As you can see, this is another day, and I'm in the Boxster again because my car's spare parts, which is the rev counter, is being delivered from Germany. And until it does, I'm stuck with this. Awful, awful, awful. It accelerated, got me out of the little jam behind a truck, but it did it so badly. The sound, I just wanted to cry. You know, I moan about the sound of the car is so important, and obviously, as you can see, I've changed clothes. This is a few days later since what you've been watching previously, and the sound quality on this Sony camera is so bad in this car because there's a lot of car noise and it doesn't really capture the voice really well. It has a stereo microphone, but there's no option to turn off the stereo mode, so I'm stuck with that, because if it was mono it would be much better. Anyway, I'm using my phone in my pocket. Hopefully it will improve the sound quality for you guys. So today I went to the Aston Martin dealership. I'm getting one of those things, you know, when I feel like I need to change the car, and in the past I've made stupid decisions where I've changed the cars based on a whim rather than based on a need or a real reason. So I've been looking at the DB9s, DB9 GTs, DBSs, and because as much as I love the Rapide and I don't want to sell it, I wanted a slightly more compact, smaller car because I'm a single man and I don't have kids. I hardly ever have people sitting in the back except for my dog. So I could do with a two-seater. I test drove a DBS, which was very, very, very nice. They've reduced the insulation and the car sounds very raw when you drive it. The exhaust note is beautiful, but they stopped making them in I think 2011, so the cars out there are from 2009, 2010, even with low mileage, about 20-25,000 miles. They're still 9-10 years old, so I'm not that sure if I want to buy a car that old which is kind of not a classic and not modern, because it looks like the Rapide, but the electronics and the features it has, they're not the same. The Rapide has so much more. The main thing with the Rapide is it has a lot of power, a lot of torque, the weight distribution is amazing, and it has all the toys that you can possibly want. Heated and air-conditioned seats and Bang & Olufsen sound system and double glazed windows, whereas the DBS has Bang & Olufsen, the DB9 didn't. It was an option and it was £5,500, which is all worth every penny, but people don't spend that money on sound systems. So it's harder to find a used DB9 with all the things that I want in it. So yeah, I test drove a DB9 and I test drove a DBS. DBS sounded better. There is a DB9 GT, which is a 550 or 540 brake horsepower, that I am almost in the process of making a deal, but I think I need to drive up and see the car rather than make a deal on the phone, which I have done many times before. Might not be a good idea because maybe I won't like the drive of the car. The other big problem is that in the Porsche on the back you have two seats which are fairly usable. They're very small and uncomfortable, but people can sit on them on long journeys up to, I would say, 2-3 hours, and then you can take a break and they can stretch their legs. However, in the DB9s, I'm a very short person, and even I don't fit in those seats at the back, so it's definitely a two-seater with some space in the back for maybe dogs or some luggage. So yeah, we shall see how this goes. I think I'm not really that keen on the shape of the Targa, even though I really liked the Targa four-wheel drive system and everything else, but I'm not sure if I like it enough, because I was looking at the old cars, the classic cars, and going through their shapes and thinking, would I buy an old convertible? Would I buy an old Targa? And no, I still like the coupes or the coupes. So I thought maybe I should stick with what I'm comfortable with, because then in the long run, when I keep it, maybe I won't like it as much, and maybe... Wow, that was a strange noise. The whole car was rattling. Maybe in the long run, it will not be something I want. So, and maybe when I come to sell it, other people will have the same view. So I decided to not change the 911 just yet. Let's talk about this Boxster. So I've had it now, the PDK version, for a few days, maybe 3-4 days now, and every time I get into it, I still don't like it, even though I thought the car with the PDK would be a little more fun to drive. So many of you keep commenting on the fact that this car has, or not just this car, but the newer Porsches have turbo engines and a lot of low-end torque. The point is that if you are driving around London, it's very different to driving in other cities. I can understand if you have a little bit of a stretch and you can put your foot down and it accelerates quickly and then goes. But in London, you have stop-start very, very frequently. And when you put your foot down, there isn't enough power, so there builds a gap between you and the car in front of you. Then the turbo kicks in, and then it gives it a big boost. By that time, the car in front of you is slowing down, and you've got the boost, so you have to slam on the brakes. It's a very, very jerky, uncomfortable drive. In the non-turbo cars, the naturally aspirated engines, I put my foot down, I accelerate at the same speed as the car in front of me, and then as they slow down, I slow down. There isn't that jerky thing. I think the turbos need to be, and like, look now, it's on cruise control. I'm not doing anything, just going up the hill, or not even a hill, just going through this underpass, a tiny bit of uplift, and the car just starts shaking and making all these noises, because I think it's at that point where the turbo hasn't kicked in and the car has to, I don't know, produce more power because it's on 1500 revs. Yeah, now I'm going over a bridge and it had to downshift and kick in the turbo for it to not rattle, whereas none of these things happen in the 911, which is a naturally aspirated engine, or the Aston Martin. Other than that, it's a 2018 car and it has a lot of rattles. It only has 6,400 miles, and I understand it's a loan car, probably used as a demonstrator, which is another reason not to buy demonstrators, because they're abused. But the car has so many rattles. My other Boxster, which is 2006, so 12 years old, has no rattles. So this car, being a brand new car, has rattles. These cars are not made as well as they could potentially have been. And I don't know, the plastic, why this dashboard has that fake leather which is just plastic. I don't even think it's got that polyurethane. It's just got some horrible PVC that is hard. It's like driving a Volkswagen Passat or some other Japanese cheap car. So you're spending so much money on a Porsche, and it has this carbon fiber trim and a leather steering wheel, but the rest of it really, really bad. In my old Boxster, it's full leather everywhere, and after 12 years or 11 years, it still looks immaculate and beautiful. It's aged well. Now I'm convincing myself not to sell it. Well, it's not mine to sell, it's my friend's now, but I just want to keep it. Such a lovely car. What else can I tell you? This one has one good feature. It has the cruise control, which is the adaptive cruise control. So I've set it to 50 miles an hour, and when the cars in front of me brake and slow down, it brakes. When they speed up, it speeds up. I test drove a Tesla the other day. I was in Canary Wharf to see some friends in London, and I walked past this shop where they had a Tesla showroom. So I went in and had a chat with this lovely lady, and she said, "Oh, I'll take you up for a drive." The car is ugly as hell, but it drives really well. I have to say I was very surprised. It's completely silent, there's no sound, but I guess if you're using it as a city car to go to work, it's fine. But I guess the look of the car, and obviously the price, extortionately expensive for a car which has 4 electric motors and some battery. There's no engine, and there's no, and I hate the big console with the big screen in the middle. Dashboard is also all screens. I prefer the analog look. So yeah, not very pretty, but to drive it was fine, and it was quite fast as well. Not that I care about not to 60, because it's how you get there, not how quickly you get there. So yeah, that was my Tesla experience. Maybe when the Porsche bring out their Mission E, the Taycan, it will be a different story. The few renders that I've seen online are a bit disappointing, because some of them look like the pictures that Porsche have presented, but others look like a Panamera with different front and rear lights to make it look like it's a Mission E thing. So I hope the car will actually look like how they presented it in the launch, and it's not going to look ugly. Sometimes the prototypes look beautiful, but then the actual car looks ugly. We shall see. So I haven't been able to make any videos to show this car from the outside as it's driving around, because the weather's been bad and it's been raining all the time, and I'm just too lazy to go out and get wet just to make a video of a car that I don't even like. So when I have something interesting to show you, I will make a video even if it's raining. But this thing is just it's a very blah car. What really annoys me is when you put it into sport mode, it switches on the valves or opens the valves, so the exhaust becomes louder. But when you press a button to turn them off, it doesn't turn them off or close the valves. So it's really annoying that you're stuck in the sport mode with the open exhaust, which sounds really awful, and I don't want people to hear it when I'm driving around, not to attract attention. And I can't do it. And if you drive it in the normal mode, it's so sluggish and bad that you just keep getting angry and keep slamming the accelerator to go faster, and it doesn't do anything. So I guess I'll just be driving around like a knob. I know it's a little dark to be making a video, but the guy from the Porsche dealership rang me to say my car was ready, and I was like, yes, I want to come and pick it up now. And he said, oh, there's no rush, you can keep the Boxster for another day or two if you like. And I was like, no, I want to get rid of it now. And oh my God, is it good to be back in this? Oh my God. It's like I've gone from hell into heaven. This is just divine. I love this car. I'm not gonna sell it. I'm not gonna get rid of it. Oh my God, what was I thinking? Thinking of changing it for a Targa. Oh, when I saw it, I was like, oh my baby, I love you. And it's exactly everything that I was moaning about in the Boxster. This doesn't have. Put my foot down, solid. There's no rattle, no nothing. The car just feels so connected. It feels like an extension of your body, and it reacts to what you want and how you want, and it doesn't suddenly think it's time to speed up, or the brakes are fantastic. Oh my God, this is just another thing. It took me 3 or 4 days of driving that awful 718S to realize how much I love my car. So maybe if you're thinking of changing your car, you should go and rent a car that is not so good, and it will make you change your mind. I've turned off the sports exhaust because of that I'm recording, but as soon as I got out of the dealership, I switched on the sports exhaust, and oh, my heart was melting to the symphony. And the sound system, I mean, the other car had a Bose system as well, and the latest sat nav, but no. This thing is, I think also the sound damping, the way they've done in this car, is just perfect. And having Alcantara instead of leather, I think it absorbs certain frequencies and sounds, so it feels really good. I mean, the engine, this build-up is exactly what it's all about. It's not like and then boom, bang. This is perfect. They had a GT3 RS with 1,000 miles on it, being sold for £250,000. Guess they're going to get a big backhander this time. I mean, the service guys obviously are really lovely. They don't get anything. It's the salespeople who are a bit dodgy. I'm sure not all of them, but you know my feelings about this. I don't need to go on and on about my issue with Porsche dealers. But yeah, I think I don't even know what I was thinking about changing this to a Targa or changing the Rapide to a DB9 or a DBS. I think it was all just stupid. Well, I have amazing cars. I'm just ungrateful. I should appreciate what I have more rather than trying something else and then thinking, oh, I miss what I had. I think the car reads the rev counter, your speed and everything, and somehow the computer calculates various things and then adjusts how the gears change. Because when the rev counter wasn't working properly, I felt the gears were not punchy. They felt like they were taking a bit too long to change. Now, snap, snap, snap. It's not even in sport mode, and it is back to normal. And I have a feeling they couldn't just replace the rev counter. I think they replaced the whole cluster, because everything looks brand new. The fuel gauges, temperature gauges, speedometer, everything shows the same mileage that I had. Obviously the computer knew what I had and it's just replicated it, but everything is brand new. It's crisp and shiny and brighter. Love it, love it, love it. Anyway, here's another happy video from a happy Porsche owner, and signing off. Ciao.